You can watch SeemsGoodMagic.com team members live stream at www.twitch.tv/Inez27. If you enjoy our videos, you can support us by going to SeemsGoodMagic.com, clicking on eBay store, and purchasing some singles or playsets. Thanks and enjoy. Hey, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here for another 8-4 Gatecrash draft. Rare is Firemain Avenger, who's pretty awesome. Definitely worthy of going to those two colors, in my opinion. I'm not a huge fan of Boros in Limited anymore. It's kind of fell out of favor with me. But other good picks in this pack are Mugging, Syndic. Urban Evolution's good. Scorchwalker's fine. Kimetsu Rogue's fine. Firemain Avenger has enough upside to pick two colors in my first pick as well. It's a lot of upside to that card. Okay, follow-up pick. Warmind Infantry, Knight of Obligation, both of which are good. I'd rather be in Ortsov than Boros. So I'm kind of tempted to take the Knight of Obligation. It's also Godless Shrine too, but it's only worth like 3 tickets now, and I'd like to get a good follow-up pick to this. I mean, it's infantry or knight, and it's the question of, do I want to go deeper Boros or deeper potential Orzhov, or still Boros. Like, I think knight's probably a better card. This is more aggressive, I guess, but this still interacts with the battalion. I guess it doesn't fit into the turn progression. Well, it still kind of does. It's okay. Let's just take the knight. He's a really good card, in my opinion. Alright. Mugging, Boros Elite, Madcap skills. Interesting. Can take the Boros Elite. It's cheap extort. Has battalion interaction. Can take the Mugging, which is just a good card. I think this deals with enough threats where I want to take it. It does commit us a little bit deeper to Boros, but Boros Elite is enough worse than Mugging, where I want the Mugging here. And Madcap is good, but I'd rather have the removal. Okay, so we can take Pulpit, which is better if we're not going to be aggressive, but I'd like to utilize this to be a little more aggressive. Could just take the Skinbrand Goblin, which is a 2-drop. Soul Ransom's pretty strong, we're just not on color with it. I think we just take the Goblin, nice little 2-drop. Alright, next pick. I have a choice between a Kirun and a Thunder Fist. Kirun, not amazing, but Thunder Fist is not amazing as well. He's fine. Maybe I just want the Kirun. This is uncommon. There are some strong later Boros cards too. Boros is typically pretty aggressive though. I'm taking the Kirun. I could see having more use for it, like this guy. Like here we can take the Predator, who's just a strong card. Smite's good with the Knight. I like the Predator quite a bit though. He's a pretty tough card. Okay, we can take the Martial Glory, which is a good trick. There's also Active Treason. Active Treason has not been as impressive for me as Traitorous Instinct was in Return to Ravnica, to be honest. I think I want the Martial Glory. It's a pretty good trick. Alright. Could take the Denizen or the Hellraiser Goblin. I mean, Hellraiser's cool with Battalion, but we currently only have one. It's cool with Ripscale Predator. It's kind of a disadvantage sometimes. I think I'm actually going to take the Aerial Maneuver. So we're a little bit short on creatures right now, but I'm getting good. I'd rather get the good tricks and removal, and then I can just value creatures more later. None of these really matter. Could end up these 3 colors if I don't get enough playables, I guess. Or I can take the Gargoyle. It's not amazing, but See what we can do. Could just take this as a 1-drop. It's pretty bad, but we'll do it in case we end up 3-color. These cards certainly aren't worth going 3-color for, but depends on how pack 2 looks. We're getting a pretty clear Ortzoff signal. Might have to shift gears into that. Splash red. Or just a mix of the 3 colors, possibly. I guess it depends. We'll take a look. Dutiful Thrall is pretty good for getting Battalion online. If you have the mana to support the regen. Okay, pack 2. Got Ember Beast. Got Gruul Keyrune. I think we just take the Ember Beast. Still with Boros, but there's not really much else for us here. Alright. Alright. Where are we at? Salt Griffin, Vyashno Shanktail, Luminate Primordial. I don't know. We don't have a ton of early game right now. This guy's a little bit clunky, but he is a combat trick. It's tough. This guy's good, but I don't know if it's quite the direction I want to go with this deck. I could be more of a late Boros. You know, I'm not opposed to that. Late game Boros. I'll try that. It's not horrible. Like, I can take another Keyrune here. I'm probably more likely to table the Keyrune, or that I'm going to see one more Keyrune, so I can take the Predator. We can play more of the late game Boros. It's usually not what the strategy does, but they can do it okay. I mean, you just pick up the right cards for it. That's cool. So we can do Edict, get a 5-drop, removal. Otherwise, Legion Loyalist is cool. Works well with the Battalion on here. But that's not really going to feed into our stall strategy. We might splash the black just so we can do the Thralls if we don't end up with enough late game. But let's do the Edict for now. Alright. We can do Halberdiers, which are good. We can do Basilica Guards. I probably just want the Halberdiers. They trade up. They're a 2-drop creature. They're still fine even if I have a lot of late game. Edict, another one would be fine. The Guard would be fine in this deck, even though it doesn't interact with this, just as an early blocker. But let's take the Halberdier, that makes more sense. Could take the Massive Raid. Could also take the Assault Griffin. I'd play it over the Gargoyle for sure. I think we could just upgrade that. Okay. Massive Raid's fine, but let's get some more creatures. Alright. Fire Fist Striker's pretty good. It's a nice 2-drop. Alright, Commando maybe. Murder Investigation's pretty bad, but we're taking it anyway. Probably not playing it. Alright, another Martial Glory. It's not bad actually. Martial Glory's really good. Or a Massive Raid. We have enough late game, maybe we just want the combat tricks. I like Martial Glory quite a bit. Nothing really on color for us here. Guess we'll take that. And Table of Inactive Treason, that's pretty cool. Doesn't matter. Alright. So, could still use a few more creatures. Could still use a Keyrune. I did pick another Predator over a Keyrune, but felt like this was more likely to table, but it did not. still have an opportunity to see another key rune, and I think this card is pretty strong. Okay, wow, foil undersea play, that's pretty cool. Could take just the pit fight, works well with this guy, works well with the martial glory, this guy, these guys. Yeah, probably just the pit fight. Kieran's cool, but it's not on color with either of ours. Syndic is pretty good. It's a nice 2-drop. But we've got a good late game already. I'd still like the Syndic, but I think we want the pit fight. Want some more removal. We're a little bit short, and that's a pretty important one. It's pretty cool with active treason as well. Alright. I think we just take the True Fire Paladin. I like him quite a bit. There's another key rune, neither of which is on color with us. Skyjack and Basilica guards as well, but True Fire is a truly amazing card. Truly amazing. Oh, Mad Cat. Ah, we just gotta take the Charm. Who am I kidding? Charm's awesome. Really strong card. Awesome combat trick. Wow. Some options. We can do Syndic, we can do another Halberdier. I think I actually like the Halberdier more in this deck. Even though we have a lot of 2-drops and Extort's cool and all. We have some expensive stuff too. So it'd be better to just get some high power, cheap guys. We can take the Guildgate. I don't think the Prism's necessary. Prism makes it so we can do the Thralls, but we probably don't even have to play them. Prefer to not play the Gargoyle. Let's just take the Guildgate, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Probably not playing either. So 14 creatures with Beckon Apparition, but I'd like a few more. Could do the Righteous Charge, but I don't know. Good amount of 2-drop. Massive Raid doesn't look that great either, but I guess it's removal. If I'd gotten those 5-drop Night Watches, Righteous Charge would have been better. So I still need to cut a card. I don't know. Can't be a creature. Maybe it is the Massive Raid. I actually like Mark for Death quite a bit. Really lets you get in there late game. And these guys just straight up become unblockable. It's a pretty strong finisher, it really is. Could also just take the Thunder Fist. I think we're actually a little bit short on creatures, even though it's another 5-drop. Just play more to our late game. We'll have a good, relatively good early and a good late game. Yeah. Possibly get a key rune still, just to get to our later spells, just as like a mana rock maybe. It's tabled, huh? Alright, well, we'll take the Night Watch. Gets us more creatures. Sets up Battalion. Sets up a better Massive Raid. Maybe we don't play the Beckon Apparition. Maybe we don't play the Active Treason. This is alright. It's okay in this deck, I guess. It's not great, but there's nothing really there for us. I don't think we're playing it. So maybe we don't play the Nav Squad Commandos. Probably rather play the Towering Thunderfist. Another aerial maneuver. This card's really good, by the way. It's just we don't have a ton of early game to support it. This Martial Glory is really good with Boros Key Rune. Surprise. So maybe we cut the commandos. I think I'd rather do Thundering Fist or Thunder Fist. Then we're short on creatures again. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do anything about that. Makes this guy worse, makes Massive Raid worse. I guess Night Watch is kind of a creature, so it's like 14. But we don't really have creatures to... I think we probably cut the Massive Raid. Even with the Night Watch, it's not worth it. Got a good late game, got a good early game. Don't have a good mid game, I guess. I guess that doesn't really make sense. It should be fine. We're just a little bit spread out across the mana curve. This is 23, 13 creatures, 14 with the Night Watch. It's probably enough. This is an interesting deck. Yeah, I think it's alright. We have some powerful cards in here. Good amount of tricks. Ton of tricks, actually. I think that's fine. Don't have a ton of good pit fight targets. Ember Beast, Knight, Firemane, Thunder Fist. We do late game, it's just not early game. I could see this being challenging if we play Mega Aggro, but we're going to try it. So we do have a Guild Gate. Pretty even across the board, so that was weird. Yeah, I think we can do an even split. Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna try it like this. See run 1.